we'll gather around, feel the love come down. Blue elephant is strong, together we belong.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we are playing with some absolutely gorgeous into resin molds today. I have these two beautiful snowflakes that I'm going to do, along with these three little snowmen icicle molds, which I think are super cute. And I feel like there are so many things that you can do with them. Also, we are going to use some of Into Resin's non-sinking glitter in blue and a little bit of their neon aurora powder in blue as well. Now, I'm going to do something I have actually never done with their aurora powder, and I'm going to dust it onto these molds. Now, that being said, I'm not going crazy, right? I am just picking certain areas on each one of these things that I want to dust. My main thing, what I want to do with these is I want to make them look like crystal, okay? The parts that I'm dusting, I just want to add a little bit of interest in there, that and kind of see what it will do, how it looks when it's dusted on, as opposed to mixing it into the resin, which is how I've always done it. So I'm just using a little bit, and like I said, only a couple areas here and there that I'm going to do. It may not do anything because I'm using a clear background and nothing else. As far as the non-sinking glitter goes, we're just going to add a tiny bit of that. We're not using a lot, just to kind of add a little bit of sparkle in there. So as I kind of go through and dust these, let me tell you what my vision is for this, and then if we have time, a few ideas. If not, I'll get to the ideas later on in the video. So really, for what I thought about doing, but I really didn't have enough time, honestly, to make these multiple times over. I thought that it would look really pretty, kind of like a snowflake and snowman garland type deal, and just have them all connected somehow. That's what I really wanted to do. I thought it would be kind of cool if you alternate, the snowflake, the icicle snowman. It kind of has the same theme going around with snow, icy, cold weather type deal. Not necessarily Christmas per se, but winter weather related, right? I thought would be really cute, and you can hang it up outside when you decorate, or hang it inside your house, or whatever, right? So that was kind of the thought that I had in the back of my mind, which, like I said, I didn't have enough time to do it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make these into ornaments. However, that being said, I also think that they would make absolutely gorgeous sun catcher type things too, right? If you do them clear or transparent, doesn't necessarily have to be clear, then I think, hanging them on the inside of your window, I think would be really lovely. And you'll see in the glamour shots what I'm talking about a little bit more. Okay. I mixed up I mixed up 8 ounces of resin. Wasn't sure how much the snowmen were going to take, because they are like, where they're not like super big and wide and whatever, they are kind of deep. So I wasn't 100% sure. Mixed up 8 ounces Let's Resin epoxy resin using my Resiners dual mixer. Now I split it in half because I am putting it through my Resiners bubble remover machine, and I'm only adding glitter to half of it just in case I have too much left over. And I only did a very tiny amount at that. Now this is after it has spent 5 minutes in the bubble removing machine. If you've never done it with glitter before, the glitter, it tends to pull the glitter up to the top. So you just want to give it a very easy, very slow, because you don't want to incorporate bubbles back in, kind of mix, just to mix that back down in there. Now, I was playing around to see if I can get all of these in my curing machine. And this is the new Resiners. I think it's like G3 or something like that, like the dual curing machine. I was able to get them all in. But before I have the snowmen like in here to stay, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to make sure that you get a perfect casting and don't have to worry about bubbles, because these molds are a little bit tricky. Now I am very slowly pouring my resin into the snowflake molds. We're going to do that first, and because it's clear resin, I'm going to take advantage of that and make sure that there is no bubbles that are trapped on the bottom of the mold, even though, you know, as I'm pouring it in, there's a lot of intricate detail in these molds and a lot of areas where those bubbles will sit and gather and have a party, and I don't want that. I want this to be absolutely 100,000% bubble free. I don't want to see them. Now, hindsight, I wish I would have added a little bit more glitter to it. I was worried that it was going to overpower it because it is very fine. It's very similar to like a crushed crystal type deal, that if you could add too much, like it's not as, you can add more of this glitter than you can to the crushed crystal without it overtaking it, right? Crushed crystal, like, I mean, is just itty bitty because it's I don't know, chopped up or whatever they do, processed finer than even this ultra fine glitter. But you still need to be careful because it is ultra fine. If you add too much, it can overtake it, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted it to be on the subtle side. You know what I mean? All right, so I'm pretty much done fooling around with the resin in these. I did give it a squirt of alcohol on the top just to pop any bubbles that may rise as I was kind of digging them out. Make sure that that's gone. We're going to move this and get this out of the way just because I need some space to work on these snowmen and get them bubble free as well. Now, each one of these snowmen is different, but they all have one thing in common, and that is a scarf. And the scarf you cannot see in the mold. It goes either off to one side, off to the other side, or down in the middle. So with each one, you need to make sure that you're kind of, you want to pour your resin in slow, right? Which is kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to pour each one of them in slow to begin with. Let them kind of sit, let it find its way into those areas where the scarf is located. And then I'm going to, after I do that, then I'm going to start working those bubbles off. Now, I did give a quick spritz of alcohol down towards the bottom just to kind of help with that. But honestly, if you take your time and you work it, you really don't need the alcohol. I really shouldn't have sprayed it with alcohol, especially these molds, but I did. Now, if you can see on this one, I'm working on the side. That is where the scarf goes in this one, and you just kind of get a tool that, you know, isn't sharp, isn't going to scratch your mold, and work it and squeeze on the side of the mold to get those bubbles to come up, and you can see them come out. So this part did take me a while. I also did make sure you can see all the bubbles coming out now, and I'm just kind of pushing the mold and working them out, working that resin in under there. I'm going to let it set for a minute, go back full with the other ones, and then check it again just to make sure I don't get any more air out. If I do, I'm going to work on it some more. Now, their hats do have a lot of kind of in and out of the mold, so you want to make sure that you're working in that too. And the top, there's like on each one of them has like a little ball, and then the other two have spots where I'm assuming like a hole was supposed to be for the mold, but it's an area where your bubbles can get trapped. And the nose, pay attention to that as well. Work that out, and then you shouldn't have any problems. Now, I am just, you can see the turtle there. I was hoping, he is not a turtle. Wow. Yeah, he's a frog. I was hoping I was going to have enough time to make a frog that kind of went along with the theme of this, but I didn't. So just ignore him because you're not really going to see him again. We won't be demolding him in this one. Um, but I did go through, I filled up all of the molds, and then what I had left in clear that I needed to finish filling them because I didn't have enough of the glitter mixture mixed up. They take roughly a little bit under 2-ish ounces, like just under, for each one of the snowmen. Somewhere thereabouts, right? So I didn't have enough of the glitter mixture. I didn't feel like adding any more glitter at the time because, like I said, I didn't want to overtake it. and make it overpowering. So I did just fill the rest in with clear. Okay. Now this is the next day. I put it in my curing machine, but I didn't have time to get back to it later on that day. And it is time to look at these. Now, look how absolutely gorgeous this is. The way it hits the light, and my camera doesn't do a whole lot of justice. I had a really hard time taking the glamour shots of these and getting it to catch just how beautiful it is. You can kind of see here, but even after I'm done, like, decking them out, like, they're just absolutely beautiful, beautiful molds. They would make gorgeous kind of sun catchers like I was talking about in your windows. Like, imagine 2 or 3 in each window. I would say probably 3. And you have, maybe them all staggered in where they are like hitting the window, how far down they go. Absolutely beautiful. It would be gorgeous. You could do glitters, you could do, your alcohol inks or your resin dyes. I would go the more transparent route as opposed to, doing like a mica or something like that, simply because this way, when the sun catches it, you'll get that kind of like rainbow effect. Do you know what I mean? And I think it would be absolutely beautiful. Same thing with these guys. You do them kind of on the transparent side, right? Or even some of that, oh, what is it called? The Angelina film, not Angel, is it Angelina? The film that you could put on the back that, oh my God, I swear to God, I'm having like freaking menopausal brain right now. Dichroish film, that's it. On the back of it, I think would look stunning. This way you're getting all those colors. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, demolding these is fairly simple. You just have to keep in mind which way, where the scarf is. You don't want to rip your mold as you're taking it out. That's the only thing that you kind of got to wiggle out a little bit, but they're super easy to demold. Now, after you've seen them, you can see where I kind of wish I added a little bit more glitter just for a little bit more color to it, even though, yes, I wanted it clear. I think it would have, I just wanted to see a little bit more. Anyway, we're going to clean these up real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to decorate them, but I'm not going to do a whole lot to them. We're going to keep it very minimal. I just want to add a little bit of embellishments just to take these up a notch. So what I'm going to do, I'll talk you through it now, and then I'll bounce off when I start, just so that you guys kind of know what I'm doing. I'm going to take one of my silver paint pens, and I'm just going to hit certain areas, again, just very, very lightly. So you know how on your paint pens, you kind of got to pump them up and down to get that marker, that ink or the paint or whatever flowing. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it more kind of like a dry brush technique, if you will. So whatever paint is on the nib of that paint pen is what I'm going to use. I don't want it flowing freely. I don't want to be able to clearly see silver. I just want it barely there. Just enough that when your eye looks at it, you see a little bit more distinction in some of the embellishments on this, but not so much that you're like, oh, wow, that's silver. Does that make sense? Like, there's time when you want, yes, I want it. I want it to look like there is liquid silver on there and it is shiny and chromy and all of the things. This is not one of those times. This is the time that I want the crystal clear, just beautifulness of the mold itself just to shine through. That is the main thing that I want to look at, but I just want just the itty bitty teeniest amount of detail to it, just to add a little bit more to it. Make sense? And then what I decided that I wanted to do on the snowman, and we'll add a few on the snowflakes as well, just to tie them all in together, is I'm just going to add a couple of rhinestones going down the icicle. I thought that that would look really pretty and kind of, again, separate each little bit of the icicle from itself. So it's not looking like one solid piece. It looks like the water's actually dripping and you can see the definition between each one. Do you know what I mean? So for that, I'm using clear rhinestones, but they're the clear ones that have kind of that color shift to it when the light hits it. I thought that would be pretty, just to give it as the light hits, just a pop of color, but not overwhelming amount of color. Okay? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to bounce off real quick. I'll be back when we are ready for the last little bit and we assemble all of this stuff together.
Snowflakes tumble from the night like whispers wrapped in silver light. The world is quiet, soft and white. Snowflakes and starlight shining so bright. A Christmas dream, a silent night. Hold me close, we'll make it right. Snowflakes and starlight tonight. The fire hums a cozy tune, the clock ticks slow, the bells will croon under the glow of a frosty moon. The air feels sweet, the world feels near. A wish for love this time of year. Snowflakes and starlight shining so bright. A Christmas dream, a silent night. Hold me close, we'll make it right. Snowflakes and starlight tonight. Mistletoe sways in the candles gleam. Sugar and spice in a Yuletide dream. Hearts are warmer than they seem.
You showed up when the world was quiet, when I was just a voice in the dark. Built this thing with me brick by brick, you and me in a dream that wouldn't quit. Every single one of you stayed through the noise and the doubt, you kept believing. Blue Elephant Crew, you're my family now. Not just watching but holding me down. You're the reason I'm standing here proud. Blue Elephant Crew, Blue Elephant Crew.
Okay, I'm back. As I kind of finish this up, and before we get to the next part, there's another idea, and this is something that I think would look really cool, and I just haven't worked out how to do it yet, but it's something I would love to do. I think it would be neat. Remember how I was talking about I wanted to kind of make a garland of these, kind of going, alternating the different ones? Well, I think that it would be super, super pretty to somehow be able to have fairy lights, or maybe not necessarily fairy lights because I feel like these pieces would be too heavy to hang from the wire, but maybe like actual Christmas tree lights and have them in each one so that they light up. That being said, Christmas tree lights may be too bright. Fairy lights are kind of better as far as the brightness goes, I think, because it's not so much. You don't want it to like be so bright that you can't even see what it is that you're looking at. But I think that that would be a really, really cool idea. And it's something that if I can figure out how to do it and have it set in the resin, I want to try. I'm just not 100% sure how to do that yet. I have some ideas, but I think that that would be really, really cool. And then have them kind of maybe hanging out on the porch or something like that. And the light just light up. I just think would be really pretty. Okay, back to what I'm doing though. So I just finished up adding all the rhinestones. Now, where I'm showing you is where you can see there's like a little indentation of where I'm assuming a hole should be for this, but it's not part of the mold. So it's kind of a guideline to go by. So I got some eye screws, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill down a little bit with my hand drill, but I'm not going to go the entire way. My resin is still fairly soft at this point. So it's soft enough that I can screw it in and not really have to worry about the eye screw breaking because they're rather cheap. But I just want to go part way with the drill. So this way it's easier for me to get in, right? And then I can just finish it up going down, and it'll be the size of the actual eye screw itself. So I won't have an issue if my drill bit is too big or whatever and have the eyelet, or the eye screw coming out. Now I am adding a little bit of E6000 to it, and that is just going to help it hold it in and make it super secure. So I don't have to worry about later on the screw coming out or anything like that as it's hanging with the weight or whatever. So I'm going to do that. Now, I would fully, if you do this, wait at least a good 24 hours for that E6000 to fully cure before you hang it, just because you don't want it to, I mean, it should hold anyway because you're screwing it in, but you don't want any problems. So I would wait a full 24 hours, let the E6000 completely cure, and then hang it up from that point on. Now, the only one of these pieces that I had issues with were one of the snowflakes where it didn't have even a spot for a hole. And I just don't know. Like, none of the places looked like a good spot exactly for me to drill one. I just wasn't, I don't know. I don't know. I was worried. Like, this one had a hole, but I had covered it up on the bottom. So I'm just going in there and opening that back up again so that I can be able to put it in. Now, that being said, the silver string that I used was too thick to get into the hole. So I am going to have to put a jump ring on it to get it to go in, or find something that's super thin, or drill the hole bigger, which I didn't want to do either because it kind of like goes with the size of the dots that are around there. So I just didn't want to make it too big. But I'm gonna, that's a future Nicole problem. I'm not dealing with that today. I didn't feel like going and searching for my jump rings. But as far as this other one goes, like I said, I really wasn't sure where exactly to put the hole this time. So I'm just going to tie the silver cord, and then I'm just going to loop it through one of the places and hang it up like that. It's fine. It'll be fine. And maybe later on I'll decide that there's an area that I feel like putting the hole that it's not going to look ridiculous, do you know? But anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm just going to finish these up. Now, I did have a hard time. It's not too often I do 100% like fully clear pieces. So I had a hard time taking pictures of it for the glamour shots and actually you being able to see just the absolute beauty of these, like just in crystal clear. So forgive the glamour shots. I did the best I could with what I had, and maybe if I could find a different background, it would have been better, but I was just running out of time and I had to get this finished editing. Anyway, that is a wrap on this one, guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will see you on Saturday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
We'll gather around, feel the love come down. Blue elephant is strong. Together we belong. In every comment right, you lift me to new heights. Your support, it's clear, gives me reason to cheer. Blue elephant crew, this one's out for you. You make dreams come true with everything you do. Each subscriber's heart playing a vital part. Videos we share, showing how much we care. Likes and shares, they grow. You make the channel glow. Every single view, I owe it all to you. Blue elephant crew, this one's up for you. You make dreams come true with everything you do. Each subscriber's heart playing a vital part. Videos we share, showing how much we care.